Look, Marcus Laurent is working here. We're coming through.
Listen, you aren't going near my staff without a warrant.
We're federal agents, pal. We don't need your little permission.
Actually, you do. This is a hospital with privacy laws.
You're required to follow my lead or you're obstructing.
Get your supervisor on the phone, because you're staying there!
It was around 2:45 in the afternoon on a Thursday, right in the middle of a super busy shift in the ICU at Mercy General Hospital. What began with 3 immigration agents showing up and demanding to talk to one of the nurses turned into something wild. The whole floor of doctors, nurses, and staff basically forming a human wall to shield their co-worker. The hospital's security cameras caught the entire thing in crystal clear video. It blew up online super fast, and it ended up leading to a huge federal lawsuit where Marcus Laurent walked away with $14 million. Man, it really laid bare how messy things can get when immigration enforcement crashes into patient care. Quick question. Where are you tuning in from right now? Just drop your city or country in the comments below. I really love seeing who's listening to these stories. And if you're new around here, hit that subscribe button real quick. Trust me, this one's a perfect example of incredible workplace solidarity, and you've got to hear how it all went down. Marcus Laurent was 34 at the time, an ICU nurse who'd been at Mercy General for 7 solid years. He's Haitian American, born in Port-au-Prince, but his family brought him to the US when he was just 2 because things got dangerous back home with political trouble. He grew up in Chicago, went to regular public schools, worked his way through nursing school at a state university, and built this amazing career taking care of people at their sickest. He was seriously good at what he did. Doctors would specifically ask for him on the toughest cases. He could tell when a patient was crashing before the alarms even went off. When the unit was short-staffed, he'd pull double shifts without a single complaint. His reviews were always outstanding. His co-workers loved teaming up with him, and the patients who pulled through. They remembered his name and how kind he was. He became a U.S. citizen at 19 through naturalization. He had the certificate locked away safe at home with his other important papers. He had a U.S. passport, voted in every election, paid his taxes on time, even did grand jury duty the year before, which is something only citizens get called for. Can you even imagine? This guy was as American as it gets, with all the proof in the world. That Thursday, Marcus was on the day shift in the 12-bed ICU up on the 4th floor, the place where the hospital sends its most critical patients. He was taking care of 2 people, a 68-year-old guy recovering from emergency heart surgery, and a 45-year-old woman who'd been fighting septic shock for over a week. The job's no joke. Super intense, super technical, super tiring. Checking vitals every 15 minutes, tweaking IV drips, charting every little thing down to the second, talking to doctors, respiratory therapists, pharmacists. You have to stay sharp every single moment because people's lives are literally on the line. Marcus was at the woman's bedside, adjusting her IV pump and speaking softly to her, even though she was sedated. Studies show hearing is usually the last thing to fade, and he always treated patients like real people, not just machines with tubes. That's when his charge nurse, Sarah Mitchell, showed up in the doorway looking more upset and angry than he'd ever seen her. "Marcus, try not to react, but we've got a problem. There are ICE agents in the unit asking for you by name." His hands just froze on the IV line. "ICE? Why would they be here?" "I have no idea. But they're at the nurses' station right now insisting on talking to you. I already told them they can't barge in and interrupt patient care without following the right steps. Dr. Patel is backing me up." Marcus's heart started pounding. He was a citizen. He had all his documents. There was zero reason for this. But deep down he knew sometimes logic doesn't matter if someone decides you look like you don't belong. It's honestly heartbreaking to think about how scary that moment must have felt. "What should I do?" Sarah's face got even more determined. "You finish what you're doing for your patient. No way am I letting anyone, federal agents or whoever, mess with care on my floor. If they want to talk, they can wait till you're at a good stopping point and do it the proper way through the hospital." She walked out. Marcus tried to concentrate, but his hands were trembling. He double-checked the pump, updated the chart, and worked on breathing steady. From the room's window, he could see the nurses' station. 3 ICE agents in their tactical vests, looking frustrated. Sarah stood right there blocking them, arms folded, owning the space. Dr. Raj Patel, the attending doctor, was next to her. Then more nurses started showing up. The whole day crew, maybe 8 or 9 total, forming this half circle that physically stopped the agents from moving deeper into the patient areas. Those security cameras? The hospital had put in a full system years back after some thefts, so every corner, hallway, and doorway was being recorded in high def. What they caught over the next hour basically became the backbone of a lawsuit that forced big changes in how immigration folks can act inside hospitals. Marcus wrapped up with his patient and stepped out slowly. The second he appeared, one agent pointed. "That's him, Marcus Laurent." Sarah jumped right in front. "You're not talking to any of my people without the right clearance and following hospital rules." The lead agent, name tag said Reynolds, pulled out some papers. "This is an administrative warrant for Marcus Laurent. We have the right to question him about his immigration status." "Let me take a look," Dr. Patel said, holding out his hand. "He's an immigrant from India, who came here for med school and stayed. He knew both sides of this stuff." Reynolds handed it over. Dr. Patel read it slowly while everyone watched. "This isn't a warrant from a judge. It's just an admin form signed by some ICE boss. It doesn't let you walk into a hospital and pull someone off their shift. It might let you ask questions somewhere public, but not here while he's taking care of patients. If you want to talk to him, set it up through HR like normal." "We don't need an appointment. We're serving this warrant," Sarah cut in sharp. "You're standing in an ICU with 12 people fighting for their lives. They need constant expert nursing. You're messing that up. You're risking HIPAA violations just by being near patient zones, and you're making this a hostile place for my team. You need to go, now." Have you ever watched coworkers go full shield mode against people with badges and power? Drop a comment, because what came next is the kind of thing that restores your belief in people having each other's backs. Reynolds tried stepping around Sarah. Marcus stepped back instinctively, and then, boom. Every nurse in the unit moved. Not fighting, not yelling. They just slid into place between the agents and Marcus, shoulder to shoulder across the hallway to the rooms. 8 nurses in scrubs, forming a solid line. "You're not touching him," Sarah said calmly. "You're not questioning him. You're not taking him. Not without real legal power, not without hospital bosses here, and definitely not while we're in the middle of saving lives." Reynolds turned red. "You're obstructing federal officers." "We're protecting our co-worker and our patients. Big difference." One agent grabbed his radio. "We need backup at Mercy General, 4th floor ICU. Multiple individuals interfering with immigration enforcement." Dr. Patel pulled out his phone. "And I'm calling hospital admin, legal, and security. Let's see who shows up first." The air was thick with tension. The agents couldn't shove past without manhandling healthcare workers, which would have looked awful on camera. The nurses held firm. They'd decided together to protect Marcus, and they weren't budging. Marcus stood behind them, totally blown away. These were folks he'd worked alongside for years, covering holidays, helping when someone was sick, cheering new babies and promotions. Now they were literally using their bodies as a shield. It's honestly moving to think about how deep that loyalty ran. "Marcus, don't say a word," Dr. Patel called. "No answers, no papers, nothing till we get a lawyer." Reynolds switched tactics. "Mr. Laurent, we're just verifying your status. If everything's good, this'll be fast. Just a couple questions." "Don't respond," Sarah said right away. "Ma'am, you're telling him not to cooperate with federal officers. That's obstruction. I'm telling my employee he has the right to stay silent and have a lawyer. That's straight from the 5th Amendment. Are you saying he should give up his rights?" Reynolds didn't have much to say to that. The standoff dragged on. 2 minutes, then 10. Agents stuck, nurses unmoving. Marcus watching his team stand up for him in a way that choked him up. Security showed up around the 14-minute mark. 2 guards who looked things over carefully. "What's going on?" the head guard asked. "These agents want to take one of my nurses mid-shift," Sarah explained. "They've got an admin warrant, not a court one. They won't follow hospital rules, and they're interrupting critical care." The guard looked at Reynolds. "Sir, this is a hospital. We have strict rules for any law enforcement in patient areas. You need to go through admin. This is federal immigration. We don't follow hospital rules." "Actually, you do. This is private property. The hospital decides who comes into patient zones and how." Reynolds was clearly losing it. We're not leaving till we finish this. Then you'll wait for admin. Hospital bosses rolled in at about 22 minutes. HR director, legal counsel, chief medical officer. They huddled quick with Dr. Patel and Sarah while the agents fumed at the station. The hospital lawyer was straight up no nonsense. I've looked at your admin warrant. It doesn't let you disrupt operations or yank staff during care. Want to question Mr. Laurent? Schedule through HR. He'll bring a lawyer, but you're not doing this now in the ICU. You can't detain him here. For an arrest, you need a real judge-signed warrant. Try forcing him out without it, and we'll press charges. Kidnapping, assault, the works. The agents hit a brick wall. Mercy General had lawyers, policies to protect staff, and cameras catching everything. Reynolds tried one more time. We have info saying Marcus Laurent might not be authorized to work here. The HR director held up a tablet. He's been here 7 years. We did full I-9 when he started. Proof of citizenship via naturalization. E-Verify cleared him. He gave his U.S. passport. SSN checks out. Everything's solid. So what exactly do you have that beats 7 years of verified records? Dead silence. Any proof of fake docs? Anything besides a tip or guess? More silence. Then we're done. You're leaving. Questions go through official channels. No interrogating staff on site without solid reason. Should hospitals shield their workers from immigration stuff while they're on the job saving lives? Tell me in the comments. This whole thing tested that big time. The agents finally walked out, but Reynolds shot back at Marcus. This isn't finished. We'll come back with the right paperwork. Sarah fired right back. And we'll be waiting with our lawyers. Touch one of my nurses without cause, and you'll deal with the consequences. As soon as the elevator doors closed, the ICU exploded. Hugs for Marcus, Dr. Patel grabbing his shoulder, security giving respectful nods. Sarah pulled him into her office. You okay? He was still shaking. I don't get it. I'm a citizen. I've got everything. Why me? No clue, but we're figuring it out and making sure it never happens again. That night, the hospital's legal team got him with an immigration lawyer named Lisa Chen. She was alarmed right away. Grab your naturalization certificate, passport, every paper you've got. We need to know why you're flagged. 2 days later, the truth came out, and it was infuriating. ICE got an anonymous tip saying Marcus Laurent was illegal. No details, no evidence, just the name. Their database showed a Marcus Laurent from Haiti with a deportation order from 15 years back. But it was a completely different guy who'd left the country ages ago. They matched the name and stopped there. No birth dates, no SSNs, nothing else. Agents rolled up to Mercy General to grab him, based on literally just a name match. No verification, no check of his work records that would have screamed citizen. Total breakdown that almost got an American citizen hauled off, maybe deported, definitely scared for life. The lawyer was livid. This is sloppy enforcement at its worst. They skip basic checks, see a name, and go for whoever matches. Unacceptable. The ICU video was brutal evidence. Agents barging in unannounced, flashing that weak admin warrant, trying to pull him mid-shift. It showed the nurses stepping up, hospital standing firm, agents backing off when faced with real pushback. A nurse posted about it online. Today my whole team stood between ICE and our friend. They tried taking him for no reason. We said no, this is solidarity. It spread like crazy, hundreds of thousands of shares. News ran with hospital staff forms human shield to protect nurse from ICE. That clip of the nurses lining up aired everywhere. People loved it. Nurses nationwide shared solidarity stories. Immigrant groups cheered the courage. Experts said the hospital did exactly right, protect staff from overreach. Marcus sued 6 months later. The suit hit hard, named the agents, their bosses, the regional head, DHS, claimed Fourth Amendment violations, no probable cause, Fifth, no due process, 14th, racial profiling, laid out his whole life, citizen since 19, decade plus in healthcare, E-Verify, passport, clean record, here legally since toddler. Described the raid, agents at work without ID check, weak warrant on name alone, mid-care disruption, hostile vibe. Included the full video hour, expert psych reports. Marcus now had bad anxiety at work, panic attacks on shift, Even thought about quitting nursing because the place felt unsafe after that scare. He asked for $14 million, $3.5 million compensatory for the scare, distress, career hit. $10.5 million punitive to make a point about sloppy checks. Discovery showed how bad it was. ICE emails, just a name and workplace, told to go detain. No birth date, no description, no SSN, just a 15-year-old case match. Never checked his job files that proved citizenship, never confirmed identity, just assumed Agent depots were rough. Why no verification before detaining? We had name and location. That's verification. Checked birth date? No access in field. Asked hospital for work docs? Not procedure. Enough said. Experts hammered Fourth Amendment. Can't target on name alone. Need real probable cause for that person. Medical folks talked hospital enforcement scaring patients away, stressing staff, breaking trust. In this case, Top Care almost got wrecked over zero homework. The barrier nurses testified. They'd do it again in a heartbeat. He's our teammate, Sarah said. Best nurse I've seen in decades. When they tried grabbing him without proof, no way. One nurse. I respect cops, but this wasn't law enforcement. It was lazy rounding up on bad info, not justice. Trial ran 4 weeks. Jury saw the video over and over. The nurses moving as one. The standoff. Admin pushing back. Agents leaving. Heard Marcus talk about the fear. ICE at work, calling his name. Confusion over deportation, when he'd been citizen 15 years. Trauma of almost leaving patients hanging. Panic attacks after. Therapy, constant looking over shoulder. I live to save lives, he said on the stand. ICU means patients are dying. That's real. That day I had 2 depending on me, and agents tried yanking me over an unchecked name. If my team hadn't stepped up, I'd have been gone. Patients left short a nurse, all because no one bothered checking basics. Even his septic shock patient testified. She'd recovered fully. Marcus kept me alive. Then they almost took him over unchecked papers. Not okay. Defense claimed good faith, but negligence was clear. They had bad info and ran with it anyway, ignored easy checks. Jury took 2 days. Verdict. Liable for unlawful attempted seizure, negligent action, due process violation. Emotional distress. $3.8 million compensatory, $10.2 million punitive, total $14 million. One of the biggest ever in a citizen ICE case. Clear message, name alone isn't enough. Sloppy work costs millions. Agents got fired. Supervisor demoted. ICE rolled out new rules. Need at least 3 identifiers, name, D, OB, SSN, or description, before detaining. Bosses must review everything first. Hospitals got sensitive location status needing extra okay. Mercy General became the go-to example for protecting staff. HR events, legal talks, nursing groups all pointed to them. Marcus put settlement money into a defense fund for healthcare workers in similar spots, teamed with rights groups for workplace response training. He still works the same ICU at Mercy, with the same crew who had his back. 2 years later, he spoke to 5,000 nurses at a big conference, told the whole thing. Agents at the desk, the wall his friends made, hospital refusing to fold, the fight after. I'm here because 8 nurses decided protecting me mattered more than staying out of trouble, he finished. They had no clue what would happen, or if it'd cost them. They just knew it was wrong and stood up. That's solidarity. That's having backs. That's what we need everywhere. Work, neighborhoods, all of it. When injustice shows up, stand together, protect each other, say no to overreach, no to shortcuts, no to treating folks like nothing. That day my team showed me what being valued feels like. I'll spend my career paying it forward. The nurses' station at Mercy General looks the same today. Cameras still rolling. But now there's a little plaque on the wall behind the desk, put up by admin. On this unit, we protect our own. We stand together. We defend each other. Always. Doesn't name the day, but everyone there gets it. What would you do if agents showed up at your job to grab a coworker with zero real proof? Would you step up? Form that line? Tell me in the comments. And if this hit you, showed how powerful standing together can be, smash subscribe. These aren't just court cases and money. They're about regular people finding courage when looking away would be simpler. Catch you in the next one. At the end of the day, this story reminds us that human dignity isn't negotiable. Judging or targeting someone based on how they look, their accent, or their race says way more about your own character than it does about them. It shows a willingness to skip fairness, skip facts, and skip basic respect. We all have a responsibility to push back against that, not just for others, but to keep our own humanity intact. Don't be the person who assumes the worst without checking. Be the one who stands for what's right, because that's what actually makes a difference.